Growling in the Shadows, written by GayBatBoi, read to you by Avi is Evil. This fic is rated for teen and up audiences. The archive warnings are graphic depictions of violence, and the category is Gen. The fandoms are Batman, all media types, Justice League, all media types, and Superman, all media types. This is a Batfamily meets the Justice League video with, I believe, is it sort of cryptid? It doesn't say, but it's basically cryptid Batfamily, kind of. Not really. It says resurrected, but it's basically cryptid. Let's go on with the summary. The Justice League is fairly new and needs more members. Who better than the Batman, a mysterious hero from Gotham that is said to have been fighting crime for centuries. Rumors are rampant about who, or more likely what, he could be. Barry's vote is for vampire. Clark's vote is, let's please not find out. They don't know much about him, but he can't be that bad, can he? The Batfamily is dead. Or undead? All of them had died at some point, some more than once. For some reason, they just won't stay dead. That doesn't mean they come back whole each time, though. Alright. Chapter 1. Clark sighed. This seemed like a bad idea. The semi-recently formed Justice League had finally begun to fulfill their desired role. The team had been working together much better than they had at the beginning. Less bickering occurred now that he and Diana have stepped in as the leaders. Fewer mistakes are made on the field as they come to learn each other's fighting patterns. Unfortunately, even with all of these improvements, they could not be everywhere at once. The solution that had been brought up was a solid one: recruiting new heroes. They were in the Hall of Justice, holding a meeting to determine who could be added to the roster now. Superman sat at the table in their headquarters, with the other few members to discuss. Don't get him wrong, Clark liked his coworkers, had even begun to consider them friends, but Barry had just nominated one of Clark's greatest fears, the Batman. Just the thought made him shiver. Stories of the Batman had spread out of Gotham, but nothing could actually be confirmed. Theories ranged from grim vampire to half-bat, half-man, to the embodiment of shadows and evil. The last one was courtesy of their very own Flash, of course. We don't even know that Batman exists. He's one of those tales told to kids to make them behave. The story's been around for decades. He's an urban legend. We might as well try and recruit Bigfoot while we're at it. He was pretty sure the Batman did exist. Few people ever left Gotham, but all who did agreed that the Batman was real. That didn't mean Clark wanted to meet him. In fact, everything he'd heard about the hero made his city the last place Clark wanted to step. Invulnerability be damned. Even if he ignored the creepy tales of the fanged, shadowy, possibly immortal monster that prowled the city, Gotham was known for having no sunlight, meaning weakened power. Do you think Bigfoot would join if we asked? Flash, I don't think Bigfoot is real. We're not going to try and recruit Bigfoot, Barry, Diana sighed, stopping the debate before it could even start. She swears these heroes act more like kids than adults. Agreed to disagree. There's tons of sightings of the Batman. I'm sure he's real. And if we go check out Gotham, and he's not real, no harm done, right? Clark hated that Barry had made a good argument. He did not want to go to Gotham. Those sightings go back decades. Even if he does exist, he shouldn't be able to be fighting for that long. We don't know what he is, let alone who he is. He's a mystery, a seemingly violent one at that. We don't know that he will hold himself to the same standards and morals that we do. He could be a killer for all we know. Please pick someone else. Please pick someone else. Come on, Soups. In case you don't remember, most of us aren't human. Wonder Woman is hundreds of years old and still badass. Clark gave Diana an apologetic glance. And we both know that he exists. Ask anyone who's been to Gotham. They'll say he protects the city. I've even heard people leave gifts out for him. That doesn't sound like a city that's living in fear of an evil mastermind serial killer to me. Well, he could have some weird brainwashing powers, or he threatens them if they say anything bad about him. The others just look at him blankly. Fair. It was a dumb argument. Maybe he could have called in sick today. Yeah, right. As the Flash had so kindly pointed out, Clark wasn't exactly human. The team would never believe that Superman was taken down by a common cold. For once, he was kind of hoping for an alien invasion or large disaster to occur. Maybe if the meeting got interrupted, they'd forget all about the Batman before they resumed. It would at least give him a bit of time to brainstorm. He was definitely not giving the best reasons currently. It was Martian Manhunter who interrupted his thoughts this time. I have not met many humans who have met this Batman, but the ones I have talked to did not broadcast fear when thinking of him. In fact, they seemed more hopeful and safe when talking about the Batman. I don't know, this just seems like a bad idea. Is there anyone else we could try first? Clark whined. He couldn't exactly say, I don't want to go because I'm scared. The others would never let him live it down. We all know that there are precious few heroes we can ask to join us, Clark. We must ensure that the hero we ask is as strong as possible to make up for our small amount of warriors. Diana chimed in again. Always the voice of reason. A few strong teammates is far superior to many weak ones. I'm still not convinced this Batman character is a good guy at all. He pouted, arms crossed like a child throwing a tantrum. He didn't care. If Clark had to go to Gotham, he could at least sulk about it a bit first. We could always offer him the position as a trial run. If he's a good guy, then we recruit him full-time. If he's a villain, then at least we can keep a close eye on him, and take care of it if we need to. Green Arrow took Flash at Diana's side. I think it's worth a shot. It is not as if there are many heroes to choose from, and this Batman may surprise us yet. Wonder Woman smiled. Clark sighed. They were definitely going to Gotham. Well, we may as well get this over with. Let's go! I want to see what Gotham and its bad guy are like. Of course it was Flash, who was the most in a hurry to leave. Barry had started darting around the room, hoping the others would follow suit. Sue him. He wanted answers to the mystery of Gotham. He was sure his evilness and shadow theory was right, and he couldn't wait to prove it to the others. That'd teach them to not dismiss his theories as childish nonsense in the future. Should we not wait until dark? I do not believe the Batman is out during the daylight hours. Diana frowned. This is where his reporter's instinct kicked in. It's a few hours before dusk in Gotham, so if we head down now, we can talk to some locals before meeting the Batman. We should scope out the area ahead of time to see what we're getting into. Plus, some of the citizens may have advice on how to contact the Batman or interact with him. I'd hate to offend him over something we didn't understand. If he was going to have to meet this Batman creature, he did not want to do it in unfamiliar territory, and there was no way they'd get the Batman to leave Gotham. Great idea, Superman. I don't see what we're waiting for. Let's suit up and head over. Clark swore that it was early evening when they arrived at Gotham. That didn't reassure him when the city's darkness made it appear as if it were closer to midnight. How did people know when it was day or night? He may be imagining it, or it may be the fear, but he already felt as if his powers were weakening. Curse Flash and his illogical ideas. He had been hoping the citizens of Gotham were a bit more cheery than their city was. Those hopes were very quickly crushed. Every response to their existence in the city, they couldn't even make it far enough with anyone to start a conversation, was as if they were villains coming to take over. Some of the nicer people only shouted obscenities at them or screamed to get lost. The nicest citizens were those who just ignored them. Clark was sure it hadn't even been an hour. The sun was making it hard to tell, and it wasn't as if there was anywhere on his suit to hide a watch. And yet, he'd already gotten 3 coffees, 5 energy drinks, and 1 concerning unknown beverage thrown at him. To be fair, he probably stood out the most in the group, with his out-of-place, bright blue and red suit. Diana seemed to be faring much better, simply because no one dared to throw anything at her. It may have been respect or fear. He couldn't tell. Honestly, probably a bit of both. He doesn't blame them. Ja'an was clean as well, since he could just become intangible. Oliver was in a similar situation to Clark. Flash was a surprisingly easy target for them. Every object thrown at him seemed to aim exactly where he was going to be before he got there. "Look, I don't think we're getting anywhere here. Let's just head back to HQ and wait until it gets dark. Or darker, I guess. And then come back. No one here wants to help, and I'm tired of getting abused by random citizens." Green Arrow had finally said something that Superman could agree with. "I told you this was a bad idea," he muttered. "Aw, I really wanted to see the Bat Guy, though." "I said we'd come back, Flash. There's no use in us just walking around getting pelted by random crap, especially if no one's even going to talk to us." "I believe they do not approve of outside hero influences in their city. Perhaps if we approached them as citizens, they would be more willing to speak with us," Ja'an chimed in. Not a bad idea. They probably were put off by the whole of the Justice League randomly showing up in their city. "Superman should do it." Clark looked at Oliver, utterly betrayed. "Sorry, dude, you're just literally an investigative journalist, and we need some answers. Plus, no one can say no to you once you throw on that Kansas country boy charm." Clark had never been more annoyed at being complimented. "Fine, but I'm not doing monitor duty for a week." "Deal," Diana smiled. Author's notes. This is my first time writing anything, so please comment or send me constructive criticism. I'm releasing a chapter each time I finish the one after it. Also, I know they haven't been introduced yet, but here's how each of the Bat family members died. Bruce Wayne. Many decades ago. No one can remember how many, it's been so long. He died in an attack along with his parents. Alfred found him and raised him. Dick Grayson. Fell with his parents and was picked up by Bruce when he realized that Dick came back from the dead like he had. Jason Todd. Died in an explosion caused by a neighbor's homemade drug lab. Tim Drake. Parents' neglect. Damian Wayne. Died a few times, mostly sword deaths, while being raised in the League of Assassins before being rescued by the Bat family. I plan on having each one of their appearances being affected by how they died. And that is the end of Chapter 1. Chapter 2. Summary. The League enters Gotham. Author's notes. Oh wow, I was hoping for like 2 kudos, not 30. Thanks, y'all. I got excited and wrote Chapter 3 instead of doing the math I should be doing, so enjoy. I changed most of the birds' superhero names since the lore is different. I tried making it obvious, but they are. Dick is Nightingale, Jason is Cardinal, Tim is Magpie, and Damian is Robin. I also forgot to put Tim in my chapter notes last time. Sorry, Tim. His death was caused by his parents' neglect. If you're listening to this, that was fixed at some point, so you did hear that last chapter. Alright. Now, on to the fic. It had taken Clark a whole 2 minutes to fly to his apartment in Metropolis, change, and fly back. He was definitely dragging his feet, but who could blame him? He really was trying to come at the situation with a positive point of view, but he couldn't help but feel that this Batman should not be messed with. Clark didn't have a problem with being other. He was an alien for Rao's sake, but something about the Batman screamed bad, other, dangerous in the back of his head. They were probably going to get eaten by a vampire tonight when they met the Batman. Or maybe the whole League would get possessed. He shivered. Positive thoughts, Clark. Okay. The Batman probably just used his mystery to intimidate his enemies. No one could take a brightly colored vigilante serious in this city. These people would laugh him out of town. Yeah, and it also probably helped with his secret identity. No one would think a vampire/creature/cryptid being would have a human persona. That worked all the time for him. No one thinks the alien Superman had been raised on Earth with a human family. After using his amazing reasoning skills, Clark felt much better about meeting this supposed hero. He walked up to a random Gotham sidewalk, searching for someone who seemed interested in talking to him. It wasn't difficult to see that no one wanted to stop for a stranger. Not that he blamed them necessarily. Even with the Batman, Gotham was known for its high crime rate. The lack of sun made him feel slightly on edge. He had been walking for a while without luck when a young woman was in front of Clark, heading in his direction. She was engrossed in a book, so she didn't immediately cross the street at the sight of him, like many others had. This was as good a chance as any, he supposed. "Hello, ma'am, I'm lost." The woman pulled out pepper spray faster than Clark could react, which was saying something, considering he was Superman. "Let me stop you right there, asshole. I'm not an idiot. I'm not interested in whatever you're trying to get or sell or whatever, and I will pepper spray you." Clark had no idea what to say. The woman took a second look at him. "Oh, outsider, huh?" Clark scratched the back of his neck. "That obvious?" "You look like Metropolis barfed out a grown man." "What?" "Look, get lost before you die, Metro. You won't last more than a day trying to stay here." Clark frowned, but before he could respond, she walked past him and didn't turn around. "Kinda rude, but okay." "Trust me, kid, that was a nice Gotham greeting." Clark spun around and saw a man sitting on the stairs of a building. He hadn't even noticed this guy until he spoke. "Didn't mean to spook ya, but I've been there. Moved here from Star City as a teen." "So she was just trying to scare me?" The man laughed. "No, she was right. You're way too Metropolis to make it here." What did that even mean? "But I remember the first few months in Gotham. It sucks trying to learn the rules everyone here knows from birth." This was Clark's chance. Someone was finally willing to talk to him. "I'm here for a job." Not a lie. "I've heard about the Batman a few times, but no one wants to tell me anything. I was hoping someone would help me." Clark gave a sad smile, hoping his southern charm was working. These Gothamites seem unaffected by everything. "Sure you are, and I'm Robin." "Oh, I'm Clark. Nice to meet you." Robin laughed again. It seemed he did that every time Clark opened his mouth. "Yeah, you're definitely not going to survive. I'm not Robin. He's one of the birds. You don't really know anything, do ya?" Well, he just moved here. How is he supposed to know these things? Except he hadn't moved here, but if he had, he'd definitely consider leaving. These people were all rude. "Look, I don't think you'll live here for more than a week, but I'm feeling nice, and I don't have to be in for a bit, so I'll give you some advice." Maybe they weren't all rude. Well, it was still a rude way to help someone, but at least he was helping. "Thanks, I appreciate it." Yeah, whatever. Listen close, 'cause I'm not repeating myself. Got it? You wanted to know about the bats and his birds, yeah? Birds? Ugh, right. You don't even know who Robin is. Fuck, man. He felt like he should apologize to this guy for existing at this point. "Look, are you going to tell me about this guy or not? I've had more drinks thrown at me today than I've ever seen in my life. I'm tired, and I want to just go home and take a fucking nap. But I can't leave until I know more about this Batman guy." Clark was definitely losing his patience in this city. "All right, Clark. Maybe you do have what it takes to survive here." The man smirked. "First rule, never call the Batman. Got it? You're practically screaming that you've never been here. That makes you an easy target. Second, it's the bat and the birds. Outsiders never seem to remember the birds, and that'll fuck you up fast." "So there's more than the Batman... the bat?" "Yeah, the birds are like little bats, I guess. Kid sounds weird for an immortal unknown creature, so I guess they're like his spawn, you could say." "You guess? You don't sound like you know much more than me." Not true. He didn't even know who these birds' children were, but at this point, Clark just wanted information, and then to go home. He was very serious about that nap earlier. "Fine, Metro. If you already know everything, I won't bother." Clark's mouth snapped shut. "That's what I thought. No one knows what the bats or the birds are. They sure as fuck aren't human. Most accepted theories that they died and came back, but no one really knows. Anyway, mentions of the bats go back as far as Gotham's history is recorded. He knows everything that happens in this city. Some say he is the city, but I'll leave that speculation out of this. He protects Gotham and her people, as long as they mean no harm. He watches over at night and takes criminals to Arkham or Blackgate. The birds are less strict on the whole arresting part. If they feel you've committed a serious enough offense, you're never seen again." "Okay, but who are these birds? How many are there?" "There's 4 so far. Seems a new one pops up every few decades." "Decades? I thought you said they were like kids." Immortal beings? Hello?
What, do you think the Bats is a 200-year-old man running around fighting crime? They seem to age a bit, but way slower than humans. They look like kids and teenagers, but guarantee most have been around longer than you. Now stop fucking interrupting me.
Sorry, he murmured.
There's bats and 4 birds. Nightingale's been around the longest, then Cardinal, Magpie, and Robin is the newest. Imagine them as super creepy, deadly, haunted brothers. Got it? Bats may not kill, but birds certainly do, especially if you fuck with the younger ones. Stay on the good side. Got it?
Clark nodded. He was worried if he said anything, the man would stop and go inside. This was more information than they had ever heard about Gotham.
You said you'd been walking around a while. Did you notice the windowsills?
The windowsills? He looked at the apartment behind the man. The windowsills were like mini platforms or baskets. Each one seemed to be handmade. They're big?
Fuck, man, you're making this so hard. They're for the birds. People leave them gifts for the protection. Not sure if it helps, but it's basically tradition now. The birds take them if you leave good enough gifts.
Like what?
Depends. He shrugged. Whose protection do you want, and from what? People have figured out the best gifts over time. Each bird has preferences. Nightingale likes hoodies and blankets, especially ones with bright colors.
Bright colors?
Yeah, he's weird, even for Gotham. Cardinal likes books, but will only grab ones that interest him. Classics seem to be taking the most. Magpie likes junk. You know the drawer that you have where you put the random crap in and forget about it? He likes that stuff. Dead batteries, wires, rusted nails, anything. Supposed to be how he got his name. Robin is the newest, so it's more tentative, but he seems to like animals. Stuffed animals are a popular gift.
Okay, blankets, books, trinkets, animals. Got it.
Good, you want to put your seal out soon to start get on the bird's good side. Most of the people don't have them are criminals. Who wants to give stuffed animals to the creature you put in jail, you know? You make them your own, but you can find them at any store, too.
The man got serious suddenly.
This is the most important thing. Do not mess with someone else's sill. The birds don't fuck around with tampered things. They'll stop taking from that sill. People do not forgive that shit.
How do they know it's been tampered with?
They just do. They know everything about Gotham, remember? They just know whose box is whose, and who left which gift. Riddler tried leaving gifts once at a seal as a trap. They burned the apartment unit down. Just the one unit. Neighbors didn't even realize there was a fire till later.
Just as he finished his sentence, the lamppost near them lit up.
Look, I gotta head in. You do not want to be outside past dark.
Wow, it was much later than Clark had realized. The League should be getting ready to find the bat soon.
You better hurry home if you don't want to end up penguin food. Good luck, dude. You're gonna need it.
He turned and slammed the door behind him. Thanks, I guess? Maybe they should bring gifts tonight. It couldn't hurt, he supposed. Clark didn't want to test his luck in Gotham. He'd talk it over with the others outside of city limits. He listened around for heartbeats, making sure no one was looking, and took off towards the others. And that is the end of Chapter 2. Author's notes. So this one just turned into exposition. Hopefully you enjoyed learning about the boys. Not super happy with the ending. It feels kind of sudden, but I wasn't really sure how to end it. The Bat and Birds will join us in the next chapter, I promise. As always, comments, suggestions, questions, and constructive criticism are welcome. Reader's notes from me? I think I know how I want to do this. There's 6 chapters, so I think I'm going to post 2 chapters in one video at a time. So there's like 3 parts. I think I'm going to do that. Yeah, and then notes in general for this. I don't even know what that accent was. I think I was trying to do like a Jersey accent, but holy crap, that was bad. That was so bad. And I kept slipping into like country, and I'm like, no, stop. No country. No, please, please, no country. If you want my country accent, go listen to Bats and Bar Fights. That's a good one. See, the accent, it started out fine. I didn't think I'd realized how much I would need to speak in it. It was a good idea at first. I just lost it as I talked. Anyways, that was fun. Yeah. I think I'm going to end that there. And yeah, I'm going to end that there. Anyways, thanks for listening. Bye.